He complimented her glow. Now the alien thinks they're dating. That glowing 6-foot-something figure shimmering against the brutal backdrop of the lava vents had probably heard him, probably heard his dumbass mouth saying something stupid. Something like, "Whoa, nice glow you got there, pal." He was just trying to be friendly, or maybe delay the inevitable dismemberment. It had been a long week. His scrap transport had bought it hard landing on this mineral-rich hellhole. His comms were fried, and the indigenous fauna, while visually stunning in their bioluminescence, were proving decidedly territorial. This particular creature, all sharp angles and what looked like plates of living amethyst, shot through with pulsing light, had stopped maybe 30 meters away. It wasn't moving, just humming. A low, resonant vibration that tickled his teeth. He clutched the battered energy rifle, useless against whatever kind of armor that was. "Look," he tried again, voice cracking slightly. "I didn't mean any offense. Just passing through. Looking for spare parts. You know, trade routes, commerce, mutual prosperity." He trailed off. It tilted its head, and the humming intensified, shifting in pitch. A sound that felt less like communication and more like a charged capacitor winding up. Its eyes, twin points of emerald light, narrowed. Suddenly, it moved. Not running, not stalking, but a fluid glide across the obsidian plain, unnaturally fast. He didn't even have time to aim before it was on him, a powerful hand seizing his throat. It wasn't a hand, not really, more like fused crystalline digits, ending in razor points. But it held him with surprising gentleness, no command, utter terrifying command. He gagged, the air cut off. Up close, the glow was blinding, shifting from amethyst to a deep, furious crimson. The humming wasn't just internal. It resonated into him, a pressure behind his eyes. He looked up into the glowing eyes and saw something ancient, predatory, and utterly, terrifyingly certain. "You spoke, Resonance," a voice boomed, not from a mouth he could see, but echoing in his skull, accompanied by the humming. The voice was rough, layered, like grinding stones and singing metal. "Acknowledged my luminescence. Signifies intent. Potential." He blinked, vision blurring. "Intent? Potential? Lady, I just said, you looked pretty shiny." The grip tightened, just enough to make spots dance. "Shiny," the voice repeated, the psychic echo laced with confusion, then sharp amusement. "Inadequate word. My glow is life force channeled power. To note it is to note me. To note me is challenge. Or claim." His brain struggled to process. Claim? Challenge? From complimenting her glow? Whoa, hold up," he croaked, forcing words past the crushing grip. "Back on my planet, saying someone has a nice glow means, well, it means you think they're attractive, like maybe you want to buy them a drink, or date them. Not fight to the death, or sign a soul contract or whatever this is." The alien's head tilted again. The crimson glow in her eyes pulsed brighter. "Date them? A ritual evaluation? Interesting. Not the right of ascendancy, but dissimilar preamble. Claiming initiates bond. Bond initiates trial. Trial determines the compatibility for continuance." Her grip didn't lessen. In fact, it shifted, pulling him closer, her face inches from his. The humming was a roar in his head now. "Your resonance is weak, flickering. Your body, soft." But the challenge was bold, unexpected, from a scavenger. "My house requires a proving. You will provide it." Proving? Continuance? This was escalating faster than a runaway singularity. He was just a guy trying to fix his damn ship. He didn't want a date, a trial, or whatever horrifying alien equivalent of marriage this was turning into. He just wanted off this rock. Her other hand lifted, reaching towards his chest. He felt a prickle of pure energy radiating from it. "This claim is public," the mental voice declared. "Witnessed by the vents. You are my potential, my trial mate. Resist, and I will break you. Comply, and you might survive the proving." His mind raced. Survive? Comply? He had no idea what she was talking about, but he understood the implication. This wasn't a date. This was capture. And his big mouth had apparently signed him up for something way worse than a bar fight. He needed a plan, fast, or a miracle, preferably one that involved a working FTL drive. She dragged him across the scorched plains of mineral dust, his feet stumbling over jagged outcroppings of cooling rock. Her grip on his throat was gone, replaced by an iron hold on his wrist, her crystalline digits digging into his worn flight suit. He tried to pull away, twist free, but she was impossibly strong. Every step sent a jolt of resonance up his arm from her touch, a weird buzzing energy that settled deep in his bones. "Hey, let go, damn it!" he yelled, uselessly. His voice sounded tiny against the low, constant rumble of the planet's core and the high-pitched whine of the wind whipping through stone spires. She ignored him, her glowing form a blur against the twilight sky. Her humming was lower now, a steady internal thrum that he could feel through her grip. He risked a glance at her profile. Sharp, angular features, eyes still glowing emerald, a faint heat emanating from her body. She moved with the purpose of a predator, utterly focused. "So, about this trial," he tried, hoping to distract her, maybe glean some info. "What does that entail? Like a physical fitness test? Written exam? Do I need references?" She finally responded, the voice in his head sharp and impatient. "The proving test's resonance, endurance, will. It determines if a bond is worthy of continuance. If you are worthy of me, weakness is purged. Failure is termination. Termination. Right. Just his luck. Complimented a girl. Now he's on trial for his life. Look, my resonance is great. On my ship, the power core humming was music to my ears. Endurance? I survived crash landing on this garbage dump. Will? My will is strong. I will get off this rock," he babbled, trying to sound confident. Anything but the terrified scavenger he was. She stopped abruptly, spinning to face him. The glowing eyes bored into his. "Your will is noisy," she stated, "and your understanding is insufficient. The proving is not merely physical. It is emerging, a test of compatibility at the deepest level." Her hand tightened on his wrist, and the resonance flared, hotter this time, prickling his skin. It felt like being scanned, not by a machine, but by a living consciousness probing his very core. He flinched back, but couldn't break her hold. "What the hell was that?" he gasped. "You just poked my brain." "I assessed your core resonance signature," she stated, as if it were the most normal thing in the universe. "Crude, chaotic, but the potential remains. Untuned. Unclaimed." Unclaimed? He was pretty sure he was unclaimed. He liked it that way. "Yeah, look, I'm kind of allergic to being claimed," he muttered. "And my resonance is fine, the way it is. Thanks. Just needs a little tuning up, maybe a new capacitor." She cut him off with a low growl that vibrated through his skull. "Silence, trial mate. We near the house of events. Prepare yourself. The elders are waiting." Elders. Great. So, she had scary bosses. This just got more complicated. He looked ahead, and in the distance, silhouetted against the fiery glow of the horizon, he saw structures, not built but grown from the minerals, crystalline spires reaching into the sky, pulsed with the same internal light as the alien woman dragging him towards them. An alien sanctuary, built from living stone and lava light. He felt a knot of dread tighten in his gut. He'd gone from trying to scavenge a power cell to being dragged towards an alien mating ritual trial by a woman who thought he was flirting when he was just making small talk. This was officially the worst day of his life, and it looked like it was about to get a whole lot worse. He just hoped this trial didn't involve being eaten, or worse, permanently bonded to this terrifying, glowing woman. His survival instincts screamed at him to run, to fight, to bite her glowing hand if he had to. But something else, something stupidly human was also present. Morbid curiosity, and a grudging fascination with the sheer, raw power of the creature who had just claimed him. God help him. The House of Events was less a building and more a network of enormous crystalline formations clustered around a central, perpetually active volcanic vent. Walkways carved from solid obsidian connected spires that hummed with latent energy. The air smelled of sulfur, ozone, and something else he couldn't place. Metallic, sharp, like blood and heat. As they approached, other glowing figures emerged from the structures, watching them. Some were tall and slender like the woman gripping his wrist. Others bulkier, their glows shifting in color and intensity. All eyes seemed fixed on him. He felt exposed, alien in the most literal sense, a soft, dull thing surrounded by shimmering, powerful beings. His sarcastic facade felt paper-thin here. "Welcome, Zurith," a voice boomed. Different from Zurith's internal one, emanating from a being seated on a raised platform near the main vent. This one was older, its crystalline structure more jagged, its glow a dull, deep purple. It had thick, ropey appendages that served as arms. "You return with an anomaly." Jareth pulled him forward, stopping before the platform. Her grip tightened. A silent warning. "Elder Kerr," she responded, her mental voice projecting confidence and authority. "I have claimed a trial mate. This scavenger." Layer spoke resonance. "He will undergo the proving." A ripple went through the watching Xylos. Murmurs of humming rose from the crowd. The purple elder, Kar, focused its multiple eyes on him. Spoke resonance? A soft skin? Impossible. They are mute to the vent's song. Unattuned. His resonance is chaotic, yes, Zurith admitted, but present. He acknowledged my luminescence. He described it as shiny, a crude term, but one indicating perception. The elder hummed, a sound that felt like skepticism. "Shiny, approving for a word?" "Sarith, your proving for ascendancy is upon you. The house demands a worthy bond." "Not this." Kerr gestured towards him with a thick appendage, dismissively. He felt a flush of indignation. "Hey, I'm plenty worthy. I can hotwire a derelict, scavenge parts in a radiation storm, and make a damn good nutrient paste from questionable sources," he blurted out, immediately regretting it. Zurith's grip became punishing. "Silence, trial mate," her voice hissed in his skull, laced with fury. "You do not address the elders unless permitted." Kar's humming grew louder, sharper, layered with what sounded like laughter in the echoing mental space. "It speaks, and it boasts of scavenging, hot wiring, child's play, the proving tests, connection to the vents, the channeling of raw power, the merging of wills. Your scavenging is irrelevant. Maybe your channeling and merging is irrelevant where I come from," he shot back, unable to bite his tongue. This was absurd. They were judging him on their alien criteria when he just wanted his ship fixed. Kerr's glow flared a dangerous red. "In silence. This anomaly insults our ways." Jareth stepped slightly in front of him, her glow intensifying to a fierce white gold. "Elder Kar, the claim is made. The vents witnessed. The proving will proceed. Its outcome will determine its fate and mine. Interference is forbidden by the rituals." She was defending him, or defending her right to determine his fate. Hard to tell the difference. The elder fixed its gaze on Zurith, the mental humming turning aggressive. "You stake your ascendancy on this. The soft skin? Your rivals among the other houses will challenge this proving. They will argue you dilute the sacred bond with weakness. Let them challenge." Zurith's voice resonated with unwavering power. "My strength is my own. My bond will be forged in the vent's fire, not diluted by fear of judgment. The proving begins at the next cycle's peak heat. Prepare the pit." The pit. That sounded ominous. He felt a cold dread snake through him. He was about to be put through some sort of alien trial, likely painful and potentially lethal because he'd told a girl he liked her glow. This was officially the stupidest way to die. The pit was exactly what it sounded like, a depression in the volcanic rock near the main vent. The air thick with sulfurous fumes and radiating intense heat. The ground pulsed with a dull red light, the veins of mineral ore within it glowing like embers. Azrith had brought him here, stripping him down to his worn undersuit. Not in a sexual way, he noted with a mix of disappointment and relief, but like preparing livestock for slaughter, for a trial. The elders, including Krur, had gathered around the lip of the pit, their glows casting long, shifting shadows. Other Gylos watched from the edges, their collective humming a low, expectant drone. Zareth stood opposite him in the pit, her form radiant, seemingly unaffected by the heat that already made his skin crawl. She wore no armor now, only her natural crystalline structure, etched with glowing lines that seemed to shift and flow like liquid light. The proving of resonance, her mental voice echoed in the enclosed space, devoid of the sharp command it held earlier, replaced by a strange ritualistic solemnity. We stand before the vents, the heart of our world. Here, all pretense is stripped, all barriers fall. We channel the energy, we offer our core selves, the vents judge compatibility. The trial will be painful. Resist the pain, channel the fire. Merge your resonance with mine. He swallowed hard. Pain? Channel fire? Merge resonance? This was definitely not dating. Look, he started, his voice raspy from the heat and the lingering fear. Maybe we could just skip the pain part. I'm really not good with pain. My body's soft. Remember? You said so. She ignored him, raising her arms, her glowing lines intensifying. The air around them shimmered. You will feel the vent's fire, she stated. Allow it to flow through you. Do not fight the energy. Guide it. Focus on my luminescence. Let it be your anchor. As she spoke, the ground beneath his feet began to heat up, rapidly. A searing warmth spread through his boots, then his legs. He gasped, stumbling back. Ah! Hot, 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 hot. The heat intensified not just from the ground, but from the air itself, from the glowing veins in the rock walls, from the pulsing vent nearby. It felt like being put in a microwave. Pain flared through his feet, his legs. He gritted his teeth, trying not to scream. Zareth watched him, her expression unreadable, her glows steady and bright. Feel the fire, she commanded, her voice echoing in his mind, somehow cutting through the pain. It is the world's life. Your pain is resistance. Release it. Accept the flow. Accept the flow? Was she insane? This was agony, but as the heat reached his torso, he felt something else. Beneath the searing pain, a strange tingling, a vibration that seemed to match the low hum of the vents. Is there its own resonance? It was a current flowing through the ground, through the air, between them. If he could just adjust, his scientific mind kicked in, overriding the panic. Energy transfer, resonation. His ship's power core operated on similar principles, albeit less volcanic. What if he didn't fight it? What if he tried to channel it? Like she said, he focused, not on the pain, but on the subtle vibration, the heat flow. He imagined his body as a conduit, not a barrier. He looked at Zareth, at the steady, powerful pulse of her glow. He focused on her luminescence. He tried to match his inner trembling, not to the pain, but to her frequency. A faint, almost imperceptible glow began to emanate from his skin, a dull, unsteady orange. It wasn't amethyst or white gold, just gem, weak, chaotic, as she'd said, but present. Krur's mental voice resonated from the edge of the pit, laced with disbelief. It channels? The soft skin channels? Daskra's glow flared again, a surge of energy radiating towards him. Yes, Elder, it channels. The proving proceeds. The energy from Zareth hit him like a wave, not painful, but intense. It washed over his tentative glow, mingling with it, strengthening it. The pain receded, replaced by a profound heat, and the strange, shared vibration. He looked at her again, really saw her through the shimmering heat haze. Her glow wasn't just light. It was life, power, consciousness, and she was connecting it to him. This wasn't just a test of endurance. It was a test of merging, and he was somehow doing it. The heat in the pit became unbearable. Not just external, but internal, filling his very core. His skin felt like it was on fire, yet the searing pain from earlier was muted, transformed into an intense, vibrant energy that hummed through his veins. He wasn't just standing in the heat. He was part of it, connected to the planet's heart and connected to Zareth. Their tentative orange glow mingled with her fierce white gold swirling around them in the confined space. The elders' humming from the rim was a cacophony of surprise, skepticism, and reluctant acknowledgement. The resonance is aligning, Kerr's voice echoed, tinged with reluctant awe. Imperfect, chaotic, but aligning. Jareth took a step towards him. Her mental voice, previously formal, became softer, closer, felt deep inside his own head. Channel the energy to focus on me. Let us merge. Merge. The word hung in the air, heavy with implication. This wasn't just about channeling geothermal power. This was about them. The vent's fire wasn't just physical heat. It was a catalyst forcing their core energies, their very beings, into alignment. She reached out a hand, her crystalline fingers brushing his bare arm. Where she touched, his skin didn't burn. It pulsed with the same white gold light that radiated from her. A shock went through him. Not pain, but a dizzying surge of shared sensation. He felt the deep, resonant thrumming within her, the ancient power of her species, the fierce will that had dragged him across the plains, and she felt him, his chaotic human energy, his fear, his defiance, his surprise, and buried deep beneath it all, the spark of resilience and adaptability that had kept him alive. She stepped closer, her body pressing against his. The contact wasn't just physical. It was a merging of energies, a swirling storm of his unstable orange and her pure white gold. The humming in his head wasn't just hers anymore, it was theirs. The vents roared, a deep, guttural sound that shook the very foundations of the world. The light in the pit became blinding, a pure, radiant white as their combined glows surged. He felt a strange pull, a dizzying sensation of being drawn into her, of her being drawn into him. It was terrifying, exhilarating, and utterly overwhelming. His body reacted instinctively, arms wrapping around her waist, pulling her closer. He buried his face in her shoulder, feeling the smooth, cool surface of her crystalline skin despite the surrounding heat. Her hands moved, tracing the lines of his back, her fingers finding points of energy he didn't know he had, awakening them, aligning them with her own. The merging intensified, a swirling vortex of light and energy and shared sensation. He felt his own internal defenses crumble, his sarcastic walls dissolving under the sheer undeniable force of the connection. This wasn't something he could fight. This was a fundamental process, older than him, older than his species. This was the core of the Xylos ritual, the proving of resonance reaching its climax. The vent's roar peaked, and a final, searing wave of heat and energy washed over them. His glow flared one last time, matching the intensity of hers for a split second before collapsing back to a faint ember. Her glow, however, remained blindingly bright, enveloping him. He felt a sharp prickling sensation on his chest, just above his heart. Her hand was there, her fingers radiating intense heat. It wasn't a wound, but a mark, a glowing line spreading across his skin, mirroring the patterns on her own body. It pulsed, with white gold light, forever binding his chaotic human energy to her stable power. The marking. She had claimed him, formally, physically, in the heart of her culture's most sacred ritual. He gasped, not from pain, but from the sudden, stark reality of what had just happened. He was marked. He was bonded. He was hers. The proving of resonance was complete. The light subsided slowly, leaving them standing in the still hot pit, wrapped in a silence broken only by the low, satisfied hum of the vents and the distant murmuring of the elders. Zarulf pulled back slightly, her glow still intense, though softer now. He could breathe again, though his lungs burned with the hot, mineral-rich air. He looked down at his chest. The mark was there, A series of fine, glowing white gold lines etched into his skin, mirroring the patterns on her own crystalline form. It pulsed faintly, warm to the touch, a brand of ownership. What did you do? He asked, his voice hoarse. Her mental voice was back, but it was different, less commanding, more resonant, possessive. I marked you. The proving is complete. The vents accept our bond. You are claimed. Claimed. The word landed like a physical blow. He felt a wave of dizzying disorientation. Bond claimed. This wasn't just a temporary alliance for survival. This was permanent. Claimed? He repeated, struggling to process. Like property? Like my ship's derelict power core? She tilted her head, her eyes focusing on him with an intensity that went beyond mere physical sight. Property is inert. You are resonant. You channel events fire. You bonded with me. You are partner. Mate. Mate. Right. He'd gone from potential date to captive to ritual trial mate to mate. In roughly 12 hours, his head spun. Mate, he said weakly. So, we're dating now? Because of the glow thing? And the fire thing? And the branding? Dating? A strange term. Our bond is forged, tested, proved. It is deeper than your dating. It is survival. Continuance. For the house. For me. Her mental voice softened further. A ripple of something he couldn't identify flowing between them. Vulnerability? It couldn't be. This dominant warrior woman? But there was a flicker of uncertainty, a hint of something unexpected in her expression. You are different. Your resonance is chaos, yet it aligns. Your will is loud, yet it channels. I expected a breaking, not a merging. Her admission hung in the air. She hadn't expected him to survive, let alone complete the ritual bond. That explained the elder's shock. He hadn't just endured the proving, he'd somehow passed it in his messy, human way. Yeah, well, I'm full of surprises, he muttered, touching the glowing mark on his chest. It felt taffun, weird, like a new part of him. You are. Her voice in his head held a strange mix of respect and fascination. The elders on the rim began to stir, their humming shifting from awe to something more agitated. Kerr's voice cut through the air, sharper now, demanding, the bond is thin, untested by external threat. A soft skin cannot provide true strength for the house. The proving was flawed. Sari straightened, her warrior's posture returning, her glow flaring defensively. The proving was witnessed by the vents. Elder. Their judgment is final. Judgment can be reevaluated. Another elder chimed in, their glow a cold, hard blue. The soft skin's bond is a weakness. It must be purged. Purged. That sounded suspiciously like killed. So much for surviving the trial. He was still in danger. And now, thanks to his big mouth and her weird ritual, she was too. He looked at Zurith, really looked at her. Powerful, terrifying, utterly alien. But in the heart of the fire, they had merged. Their energies had intertwined. And now they were linked, whether he liked it or not. And maybe, just maybe, that link was the only thing keeping them both alive. The elders weren't just murmuring anymore. They were actively challenging Zurith, their collective hum turning into a dissonant, aggressive chorus. Korras and the blue-glowing elder, Cather, were the most vocal. The ascendancy proving requires a partner who amplifies resonance, not one who attenuates it. Kerr boomed. This soft skin is a drain. A liability. Zurith stood tall, facing them down. He stood beside her, the glowing mark on his chest a pulsing beacon, feeling utterly out of place, but also strangely connected to her defiance. He channeled events. He merged his chaotic energy with mine. That is strength, Elder, not weakness. He brings something. Known. New is often dangerous, Cather retorted, its voice like grinding ice. The other houses will demand this. The anomaly. Be removed. Your claim will be seen as a perversion of the ritual. Let them demand. My bond is forged. Let them challenge me if they dare. Sareth's glow flared with such intensity, it pushed back the surrounding heat. Her mental voice was pure, unadulterated power. He felt a surge of admiration for her, despite himself. She was willing to take on her entire patriarchal council for him, even if it was only because he was now her claimed property. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently. Not the steady thrum of the vents, but a sharp, jarring quake. A section of the pit wall crumbled, sending a cascade of glowing rock down. From the dust and rubble emerged figures, not like silos, dark, chitinous, with multiple limbs ending in razor claws. Mercenaries. He recognized the type, hired muscle, usually for dirty work like raiding settlements or extracting problematic individuals. Their armor was scarred, their eyes cold, artificial lenses. Zereth of the vents, one hissed, its voice a static-filled translator buzz. The Council of Houses deems your proving invalid. The soft skin is forfeit. Surrender him. So, the elders hadn't just complained. They'd sent hired killers. Of course, nothing like a good assassination attempt to solidify a forced bond. Zereth's glow snapped to a dangerous crimson. You violate sacred ground. You trespass during a claimed proving. Rituals are dust, the mercenary snarled, raising a plasma rifle. Power is now. Surrender the soft skin. He reacted before he even thought. Years of scavenging, of dodging pirates and hostile wildlife kicked in. He grabbed a shard of the recently fallen glowing rock, heavy, sharp, radiating heat. Not a weapon, but better than nothing. All right, assholes, he yelled, finding his voice, the sarcasm a shield against the terror. You want the soft skin? Come get him. He threw the glowing rock at the nearest mercenary. It wasn't a killing blow, but it hit its armored leg with a clang and a shower of sparks, momentarily distracting it. Zereth didn't hesitate. With a soundless roar that vibrated through his bones, she launched herself at the mercenaries. Her crystalline hands became blur, slicing through armor, channeling bursts of energy from her core that overloaded their weapons and sent shockwaves through their ranks. She fought with savage grace, a whirlwind of white gold against dark chitin. He wasn't useless either. While Zereth engaged the main force, he scrambled amongst the rubble, using his smaller size and human agility to his advantage. He kicked loose supports, creating small rockfalls, distracting the mercenaries, looking for any opening, any weakness he could exploit. His heart hammered against his ribs, against the glowing mark on his chest. It pulsed with every beat, mirroring Zereth's furious energy. Their bond wasn't just symbolic, it was a lifeline, amplifying something within him, giving him a strange surge of adrenaline and resilience. This was it, the external threat the elders had mentioned, and they were facing it together. The fighting was chaotic, brutal. Zereth was a force of nature, ripping through the mercenaries' ranks, her glowing form a devastating weapon. He did what he could, a small, quick target, using the terrain, kicking, biting, anything to disrupt the mercenaries and give Zereth an advantage. He managed to grab a discarded energy pistol from a downed mercenary. It felt alien in his hand, but he'd scavenged enough tech to figure out the trigger. He fired, the bolt spitting out, hitting another mercenary in the arm. It didn't penetrate the armor, but it made the thing recoil, giving Zereth the opening to take it down. Stay close, trial mate. Zereth's mental voice, usually so controlled, was raw with exertion and battle fury. Their intent is to sever the bond. Do not let them take you. Not planning on it, he yelled back, ducking behind a pile of rubble as plasma fire whizzed past him. He risked a glance at the elders on the rim. They watched, horrified, as their hired muscle was being systematically dismantled by the woman they had tried to undermine, now bonded to the very weakness they had wanted to purge. Kerr's glow seemed to dim with disbelief. Kerr's cold blue glow flared with frustration. There were perhaps half a dozen mercenaries left, circling Zereth, trying to use ranged weapons, but she was too fast, deflecting shots with energy shields that shimmered around her hands, closing the distance with terrifying speed. One mercenary, larger than the others, managed to corner Zurith, its claws extended. He saw his chance. The main vent was nearby, a glowing chasm of raw energy. If he could lure it. "Hey, Chrome Dome," he yelled, waving the energy pistol. "Over here! Your paycheck's running away." He sprinted towards the vent, the mercenary turning, its artificial eyes locking onto him. "No! Trial, mate! It's a trap!" Zurith's voice was sharp with alarm, but he was already committed. He ran to the very edge of the vent, the heat blistering, the energy radiating from the depths almost visible. The mercenary was right behind him. At the last second, he dove sideways, rolling across the scalding rock. The mercenary, caught off guard by his sudden move and perhaps blinded by the intense light from the vent, stumbled. Its chitinous foot slipped on the loose, superheated mineral dust. With a screech, it tumbled headlong into the glowing abyss. There was a searing flash of light, a brief surge of energy, and then nothing. The mercenary was gone, consumed by the vents. He lay there, gasping for air, his skin prickling from the heat and the adrenaline. He looked at Zurith. She had paused, watching him, her glow softening from crimson back to white gold. The remaining mercenaries faltered, seeing their leader gone, seeing the power of the Axylos warrior and the strange, unpredictable soft skin fighting together. Zurith didn't give them a chance. She surged forward, finishing them with ruthless efficiency. Within minutes, it was over. The pit was silent again, save for the steady hum of the vents, the low murmur of the shaken elders, and his own ragged breathing. Zurith walked towards him, stepping over the mangled remains of the mercenaries. Her glow was still strong, but he could see the exhaustion in her posture. She stopped above him, looking down. "You risked termination for me." Her mental voice was quiet, filled with a profound disbelief. He pushed himself up, wincing. "Yeah, well," he managed, offering a weak, sarcastic grin. "Seemed like you could use a hand. And throwing things into lava vents is kinda my jam." She extended a hand, not commanding this time, but offering. He took it. Her grip was firm, warm, familiar now. The glowing mark on his chest pulsed in time with hers. "My bond with you, it is not weakness," she stated, looking not at him, but at the stunned elders. "It is unconventional, but it endured the fire, and it repelled the attack." She pulled him to his feet, keeping his hand in hers. He stood beside her, the small, soft human, marked and bonded to the powerful Xylos warrior. They faced the elders together. The power dynamic had shifted. Zurith stood before the gathered elders, holding his hand, her glowing mark and his pulsing in unison on their chests. The bodies of the slain mercenaries lay scattered in the pit below, a stark testament to the unexpected strength of their bond. Kerr, visibly shaken, struggled to regain control. The attack was an anomaly, an external interference. It does not validate this pairing. The vents judge the bond. Elder, not the houses. Zurith's voice resonated with calm authority, backed by the silent power humming between her and him. The proving completed. The bond was forged. It survived fire and blade. Your mercenaries sought to sever it by force. They failed. Kiter hissed, its blue glow flickering with rage. "He is soft. He is fragile. A temporary anomaly. He will not provide the long-term strength required for ascendancy." He decided he'd had enough of being called soft and fragile. "Hey, my species might not glow or channel lava, but we're damn good at adapting and surviving. I survived crashing on this rock, survived your insane date, survived your fiery trial, and survived being attacked by those things." He gestured towards the mercenary corpses. "Maybe that's the kind of strength you need right now, the kind that doesn't rely on ancient rituals." He knew he was overstepping, probably committing ritual suicide by talking back to the elders again. But something about standing next to Zurith, feeling their linked energies, gave him a reckless courage. A low murmur went through the Axylos watchers. His words, blunt and irreverent, seemed to land differently this time. They had just seen him, the soft skin, contribute to defeating the attackers. They had seen Zurith's bond with him prove resilient under fire. Zurith squeezed his hand. He speaks truth, elders. His strength is unexpected. But it is strength, and our bond holds. She looked at him then, and her mental voice dropped, becoming intimate, meant only for him. You survived my proving. You fought with me. You did not break. He saw something in her eyes, a flicker of genuine curiosity, perhaps even respect. The dominant warrior recognizing an unfamiliar form of dominance, resilience. Kerr hummed for a long moment, the sound heavy with grudging acceptance. The vents have judged. The proving is complete. The bond is acknowledged. It spoke the word acknowledged as if it tasted foul. However, Kerr continued, glow intensifying. The house remains vulnerable. The other houses will question your judgment. Zareth, they will see this pairing as a weakness to be exploited. The threat is not over. Zira's glow flared. Then we will face it. Together, she looked at him, her gaze intense. Trial mate, my claimed. He met her gaze. The sarcasm died on his tongue. Mate, claimed. It wasn't how he'd ever imagined finding a partner. It was terrifying, confusing, and bound in ritual and danger. But looking at the fierce, powerful woman who had claimed him, who had stood by him, fought with him, maybe there was something to it. Maybe surviving together was its own kind of courtship. Right, he said, finding his voice. A hint of the old sarcasm returning, but softer now. Together. Try not to compliment anyone else's glow. Okay? Apparently, that's a whole thing. Zurith tilted her head, the corners of her mental voice curving into something that might have been amusement. Acknowledged. Soft skin. My claim is singular. The elders watched them, their glows simmering with complex emotions. Resentment, fear, grudging respect. The Axelos watchers hummed, their collective resonance shifting from apprehension to cautious optimism. The future was uncertain. His ship was still wrecked. They were bonded by ritual and defiance, facing political challenges and external threats. But standing in the pit, the vent's fire warming his back, the glowing mark on his chest pulsing against his skin, holding the hand of the alien woman who had claimed him, he felt something other than fear. He felt a strange sense of belonging, of having found something real amidst the chaos. And for a sarcastic scavenger who never expected to find anything but scrap metal on a hell planet, that was the biggest anomaly of all.